Hello and happy Sunday. You're watching TVB News. With the multi-entry individual visa scheme resuming today, more than 18 million Shenzhen residents are allowed to visit Hong Kong as many times as they like within a year. Some Shenzhen residents headed for Hong Kong as soon as they got the visa. Meanwhile, some residents from other cities on the mainland said they hope to also benefit from a similar scheme. Samantha Lee tells us more.
9 years later, the multi-entry individual visit scheme is revived. The scheme was previously rolled out in 2009, but was replaced by one-trip-a-week arrangement in 2015. At the Shenzhen Lohu District Government Service Center, some mainland residents were applying for the multi-entry permit on Saturday morning. This allows them to make an unlimited number of trips to Hong Kong over a year and stay for up to 7 days each time. Some residents immediately began their trips. Mr. Wong, a Shenzhen resident, said he is going to take the East Rail Line to Hong Kong. After reaching the city, he is planning to walk around in Mong Kok, Central or Victoria Harbour, and may also do some shopping with a budget of around $2,000 to $3,000. In Hong Kong's West Kowloon Promenade, large crowds of mainland visitors arrived in the morning. Most of them were from areas other than Shenzhen.
In the first day, we eat one cha canteen, and it was really delicious. We like it very much.
At around lunchtime, a long queue could be seen outside a restaurant in Jordan. Some mainland travelers were waiting to get in.
We came to this very famous restaurant for some dessert for future visits. I just want expect more easy, like a visa or like a passport or visa, something easy for us to come here.
Meanwhile, not many tourists could be seen shopping at a pharmacy store in Jordan. In the past, some mainland tourists like to shop for parallel trading goods in pharmacies. Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Kelvin Yuan said earlier that the visa scheme would benefit Hong Kong tourism sector, and he is not worried that parallel traders will return, because he thinks the shopping habit of mainland tourists has changed. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Philippine tourists have already made more than 1 million trips to Hong Kong this year. That's more than the record 930,000 that came in 2018.
You know, you're the 1 millionth visitor from the Philippines, and welcome to Hong Kong.
We have some little gift for you.
The executive director of the Hong Kong Tourism Board, Dane Cheng, welcomed the 1 millionth Filipino visitor at the airport on Friday with a bouquet and Mickey Mouse and Panda plushies. HKTB said more than 2.3 million visits from Southeast Asia were recorded in the first 10 months of this year, reaching 95% of pre-pandemic periods. Most of the tourists were young, staying 3 nights on average, and spending around $7,100. The board added that many guests from Southeast Asia would love to spend festival holidays in Hong Kong, and the city should take the opportunity to do more promotions. The chairperson of the Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Authority, or MPFA, today said total MPF assets exceeded $1.32 trillion as of September this year. This as the MPF system marked its 24th anniversary. Mimo Singhai reports.
The MPF system was launched in December 2000, aiming to help Hong Kong employees save up for their retirement. On the 24th anniversary of the MPF, Aisha Lau, chairperson of the MPFA, said in her blog that retirement protection for local employees is close to 100%. Up until September this year, total MPF assets exceeded $1.32 trillion, a 143% increase over the past decade. With the introduction of tax-deductible voluntary contributions in April 2019, these funds made by employers and employees accounted for 24% of the aggregate contributions in the first 3 quarters of this year. In 2014, that figure was 13%. Meanwhile, of the employee MPF accounts opened since 2000, 1/3 received voluntary contributions. Average accumulated MPF assets amount to about $1.1 million. To enhance the adequacy of the MPF, Lau said the MPFA is conducting a review of the minimum and maximum income levels for MPF contributions for the 2022 to 2026 cycle. They will submit a proposal to the government once the review is completed. Minus 9, TVB News.
The chief executive-elect of the sixth-term Macau government, Sam Ho-Fai, said he will continue to promote the SAR's economy after taking office. Sam Ho-Fai and the designated principal officials and prosecutor general met with the media today. Sam said the new administration will achieve high-quality development under the leadership of the central government and its support. Sam added close cooperation will be made with the Hong Kong government. The inauguration of the new Macau government will take place on December 20th. China on Saturday successfully launched a new carrier rocket into space from its first commercial spacecraft launch site. Crowds gathered at night to watch the Long March 12 carrier rocket blast off from the number 2 launch pad in Hainan. It successfully put 2 experimental satellites into orbit. It took 878 days from the start of construction to the first launch of the new Long March 12 carrier rocket. The launch also marks the inaugural mission from the Hainan Commercial Launch Facility. It was developed by the Shanghai Academy of Spaceflight Technology under the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has warned BRICS member states they would face 100% tariffs on goods should they commit to creating or supporting a new currency to replace the U.S. dollar. Trump also talked about slapping a 25% tariff on all Canadian products earlier as he held a meeting with the country's leader in Florida. Danny Zhou has the story.
On Saturday morning, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said he had an excellent conversation with Donald Trump, but declined to take questions from reporters about whether they have discussed potential tariffs on Canadian goods. This after Trudeau made a surprise visit to Mar-a-Lago in Florida and dined with the American president-elect. Trump wrote on his social media platform that they had a productive talk and discussed many important topics, including fentanyl, illegal immigration, energy, the Arctic, and the massive trade deficit the U.S. has with Canada. Earlier this week, Trump threatened to slap an across-the-board tariff of 25% on all products from Canada and Mexico if the two countries do not curb the influx of drugs and illegal migrants across the U.S. borders. Trudeau said on Friday that his goal was to point out the steep tariff would not just harm Canadians, but also drive up prices for Americans. It is reported that the Canadian government has started thinking about retaliatory measures. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum also said her administration is working up possible retaliatory tariffs. However, after having a talk with Trump, she expressed confidence that a tariff war with the U.S. can be averted. Vowing to make investments in border security, Canada's Deputy Prime Minister also suggested the three nations should align their trade policies towards China's so-called economic policy of oversupply. Meanwhile, in regard to the BRICS quest for a new financial paradigm, Trump required a commitment from its members that they will neither create a new BRICS currency nor back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar. He warned that otherwise they will face 100% tariffs and should expect to say goodbye to selling into the US market. BRICS consists of 9 emerging economies, including China, Russia, and India. In their latest summit held in Kazan, Russia has proposed setting up a common BRICS currency to reduce reliance on the US dollar. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Welcome back. Syrian President Bashar al-Assad says he will defeat the terrorists after rebels stormed Aleppo. Anti-government forces are in control of the country's second-largest city, despite more airstrikes by Syrian ally Russia. David Garrett reports.
We are coming for Damascus. We are coming, Homs. Insurgent fighters in control of Aleppo, Syria's second largest city, now with designs on taking the capital and overthrowing President Bashar al-Assad. This man kneels as he returns to his hometown for the first time in a decade. Others say they've been fighting Assad's regime for 13 years. These government soldiers are prisoners of a protracted civil war. Rebels appear to have faced little resistance in taking Aleppo, although there are images of dead soldiers which are too graphic to show. This is the first fighting in Aleppo since 2016. A United Nations official said there had been 3 days of battles. Media loyal to Bashar say his army will regroup and launch a counterattack. Russia, an important ally of Assad, reportedly sent fighter jets to target opposition supply lines. This material, filmed by Syria's civil defense volunteers, shows the aftermath of an airstrike in rebel-controlled Idlib, 54 kilometers from Aleppo. These people have escaped Aleppo, leaving behind what they called an escalation. Hundreds converged on this camp and spoke of rockets, shelling and drone attacks. The Mercy Beyond Borders Relief Agency was helping the displaced and set up makeshift living arrangements. Ahmad Mawahid is forced to sleep on a mattress in a tent, but wishes the rebels success. He said, God willing, the regime will fall. We are counting the days. The kids were scared, so we came with the clothes they had and nothing else. Bashar al-Assad succeeded his father as president and has ruled for 24 years. David Garrett, TVB News.
The 5th China Central Asia Foreign Ministers meeting was held in Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province. Danny Zhou reports.
Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with the top diplomats from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. Attendees also launched preparations for the 2nd China Central Asia Summit in Kazakhstan next year. In a press conference, Wang concluded the 5 consensus reached during the meeting. This include enhancing the China Central Asia mechanism to forge greater collaboration and development in the region, and jointly promoting high-quality Belt and Road Initiative. He also highlighted areas of future cooperation such as trade connectivity, investment, green mining, and agricultural modernization. One says China is willing to build a platform for exchanges in Beidou navigation system application and poverty alleviation, and join hands with Central Asian countries to combat terrorism. After that, the foreign ministers signed a joint declaration. They also witnessed the opening of the Central Asia line of the Tianfu cross-border truck. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
This year marks the 20th anniversary of the establishment of the Confucius Institutes. The education programs aim to promote Chinese language and culture and have set up centers all over the world. They include one in Kazan, Russia, which earlier hosted the BRICS Summit. Jackie Lin with more.
As the BRICS Summit was held in late October, a statue of Confucius standing 2.5 meters tall was inaugurated in the square next to the library of Kazan Federal University in Russia. This Chinese history scholar from the Kazan Federal University said to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic of China and the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and Russia, they erected this Confucius statue here, which is where Russians there started studying about China and Confucius teachings as early as the 19th century. The university was founded in 1804. In 1837, the university established the first Chinese language teaching institution in Russia. It now has more than 2,000 students from China and about 1,000 students studying Chinese. In 2007, the university established a Confucius Institute in cooperation with a university in Hunan. Polina is a student at the college and has been studying Chinese for 3 years. Speaking in Mandarin, Polina said she really wanted to find a job that could let her apply her Chinese language skills. She said more Russian companies have business ties with China, and she hopes that learning Chinese will give her an edge. Kazan is the capital of Tatarstan in Russia. Director of the university's Department of Chinese Studies and Asia-Pacific Studies said they generally design their own teaching materials in class, which includes Chinese descriptions of ethnic minorities of the Republic of Tatarstan with Tatar folktales. After 17 years of development, this Confucius Institute has also set up the Center for Chinese Language Teaching and Chinese Culture, as well as the Center for Chinese Proficiency Tests. The Chinese director of the Confucius Institute said they want to revitalize sinology, which is the study of Chinese language, history, customs, and politics. Jacqueline, TVB News.
Back locally, a whale was found injured while stranded in the waters off Lantau Island yesterday. Despite rescue efforts, the whale died in the early hours of today. Experts conducted an autopsy to determine the cause of death. The carcass is estimated to be 5 to 6 meters in length. It was transferred to Marine Police Tai Lam Chung Base Pier. Officers wrapped it with canvas and lifted it onto a truck by crane. Authorities received reports from the police yesterday afternoon that a live whale was spotted off Lantau Island's Yi-O. The whale could be seen struggling in the water. During sedation, the veterinarians found the whale to be weak. The whale was later certified dead. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.